Can I introduce you to the story that you might have heard with Sean this morning? And I posted it on my Facebook on Saturday. And I said just 2 words, dear God. Okay? And it was to do with a human rights activist, rainbow disability and Indigenous rights activist who's having a baby. Okay? Frankie's having a baby. And I had no particular problems with people having babies, except it's a man. Well, it looks like a man. Trans man Frankie, and their husband Rawa, welcomed baby boy Hiwa Itarangi, go through life with that name, mate, into the world last year, and the couple spoke to the Herald, New Zealand Herald, about their pregnancy. Now, as I understand, there's some sort of video or documentary that's going to accomplish this as well. And they are very happy, right? And they are in love. Now, except, and I looked at it, and I'm sorry, but I'm looking at a balding fat man who is pregnant, and I'm going, how did that happen? And the answer is, well, how does a man have a baby? But Frankie has. So she was a girl, still is. Presumably you've got a vagina. I suppose you've still got to put something, doesn't it? It still works the old-fashioned way of having pregnancy, I assume, with the trans person, doesn't it? I mean, if a woman turns into a man, they can't acquire any bits, can they? Like, if a man turns into a woman, they can get rid of bits and, in actual fact, have artificial. Well, no, they can have surgical, nether regions put in. But I'm assuming you can't add bits to a woman that wants to become a man, right? Yeah. And so therefore, if you're pregnant, I'm assuming that you look like a man, but you've got those bits, the nether regions. Anyhow, they're having a baby. Now, I have to say, I have received some criticism for this, because instead of welcoming this lovely baby boy, Hiwa I Tarangi, which is 4 words, by the way, Hiwa -I -te -rangi, 4 words. As I said, good luck spelling it. Instead of glorying in that, I am repulsed by it. I am physically repulsed by what I see. And I just wondered if you wanted to go there, and you can see it for yourself on the New Zealand Herald, Trans Man's Pregnancy and Birthing Journey in Aotearoa, written by somebody who certainly lives on the left, or liberal left, one assumes. Go for your life. But all I can say is, there are things in this world that when I looked at, I just went, oh my God. And I just wanted to see if you got the reaction for it. Apparently, New Zealand On Air have provided lots and lots of money for this documentary of these two. But, yeah. Now, although Frankie is a trans man, clearly she's a woman. She's a woman with a beard and not a very good figure and a balding head. Okay, so I don't know if she was a woman, would say she had alopecia, but apparently male pattern baldness must just go with transitioning from a female to a male. But yeah, you just and so there is a whole confection and concoction of drugs required to translate her from being a woman into a man, which is, so that's obviously, what do they call that? Body dysmorphia. So you think you're a man and you've been born a woman, but really you're a man all along, because that's the way your mind thinks. But as a man, you want to have a baby, which of course is what men do, don't they? Men have children because that's the sort of stuff they do. So you've got to go back and get off the drugs again so you can get pregnant. And then after then you've got to stay off the drugs that make you a man, or at least give you those outward characteristics of being one, so that you can carry your child through to pregnancy. All I can say is, I think it's wrong. Maybe my reaction's wrong, but I wasn't jumping for joy. The New Zealand Herald put it on their front page for obvious shock purposes, I would have thought, on Saturday. You can go and see the photo yourself. As I said, I've just been told, a New Zealand Air documentary about these two, Frankie and Rawa. But just saying, can I just say, there was nothing that I could do except react with the two words whenever I see something that just shouldn't be. Like, oh, I don't know, lamb's been born with two heads, that sort of stuff, or 6 legs or something like that, or the 4-legged chicken. You go, oh God, dear God. Well, that was exactly the reaction I had. But I just wanted to see if I am grossly insensitive in your view, or you had the same reaction. Now, Kath and Kim comedy show, Michael, I'm being told. Do you remember it, says Stuart? Kim's husband, Brett, thought he was pregnant, but after a fart, he realised it was just wind. I'll tell you what, there's a little baby sitting in what appears to be a spa with 2 males looking over, 2 bearded, can I say, we're going to reap the consequence of this one day. We are going to reap the consequences of our decision to eschew normal standards of behaviour. I'm just saying, the West is going down one route on that particular line of trans rights, etc. It's become a part of the identity politics fashion. And yet, can I just say, the rest of the world's going down a different route. China, India, Russia, all the Eastern European countries, Africa, all of Asia, all of Asia, including the Japanese, and obviously all the Arab countries as well. It's like you've got United Kingdom, a little bit of the United States, to be fair, they're a bit more conservative, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, I'm obviously liberal Western Europe, heading down that route of trying to confuse the genders, and it's breakneck speed. And if you say, excuse me, I don't think that's a very good idea, you are some sort of trans or anti-trans activist who deserves to have a trans person throw tomato juice over you, or be assaulted by some dickhead from Gisborne. You're that sort of person. So it's no, and there's some sort of hate crime that you've committed by even suggesting that it might be a really good idea if we pause trying to manipulate genders just to satisfy the mentally ill in our community. All right? But meanwhile, the rest of the world is looking at the liberal West and saying, we don't want to join. And it's really interesting that rather than identity politics bringing people closer together and being more sensitive and open, really what it's done is it's driven probably 3/4, perhaps 4/5 of the globe in reaction the other way. And those countries that I've just talked about, that aren't all necessarily democracies, but it doesn't matter. They are here. Just mentioned, I think, 3 out of 4 of the largest countries in the world. They're going, no. No, that's crazy, man. What's the matter with you? And there seems no response to that from the West. Well, you're very insensitive then. Look, men are having babies. How normal and natural can that be? But it's not normal. And it's not natural. And it's in defiance of simple human biology. The idea that you should be able to turn yourself from a female into a male and then as a male with a vagina, have a child. And then think that you're not going to screw that kid up or anybody else that might have association with you and your freak show. You know, there used to be freak shows. These people would have belonged in it 30 years ago, and people would have said, oh, well, that wasn't very sensitive, you know, it wasn't very kind. Just quietly. What I watched on the front page of this Sunday New Zealand Herald, and if I have to watch a state-funded, for God's sake, documentary on this, if you are going to thrust this into my face, if you're going to say this is natural and normal and expect some sort of cooing response from me in the same way that I might mule over a baby lamb or a baby child in a cot, you have got to be joking. It is perverse, it is wrong, it is unnatural, and let alone what it's going to do to that particular child. Good God, can we have some common sense on this?